Guru Nation, welcome back. How's it going? Happy end of 2021. It's crazy that I'm saying that because it doesn't feel like it. And we're looking over the curtain of what's 2022. I don't know. What do you guys think 2022 is like? What are you seeing on your end?
Boom.
Yeah.
A blowout.
Like more than 21 or less?
I think more.
Wow.
Because now organizations actually have structures in line now, and since now they have structures in line, now they can actually really amplify the job processing, of people of applicants that are applying, one, and then two, now that research in general has already had its huge limelight for 2021, I feel that now there's a lot more companies, a lot more startups, a lot of individuals looking to, get into the industry. I mean, you had the interview recently, Dan, with the clinical research coordinator from Meta, previously known as Facebook.
That's right.
Facebook is dabbling now in clinical research. So that just lets you see, how far in the future this expansion is going to be happening. And so I think 2022, 23, I'm bullish for the next 5-6 years.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad you say that, and we'll get Monica's opinion too, because every year since 2019, I've been saying this is the best year ever for research, and every year it's true so far. So I'm hoping 2022 continues, and it looks like it is. And the hiring shortage, supply and demand, all that is in the favor of the employee. Monica, from the CRC Academy, what have you been seeing with students finishing the course, getting hired? By the way, Chloe's very good. She's working with me. We did a video the other day. I'm very happy with Chloe. And so what's it like for the other students?
Yeah, I told you that she was great.
Yes.
You can see that from the beginning. So I see the majority. I mean, this is probably the first time. It's gonna sound a little bit too much, but it's the reality. 95% student success rate for the students that are truly looking for a job, right?
How long does it take? Like how long?
Well, a lot of my students are studying. Before, they were waiting until week 6 or week 9 to start applying. Now I have students that join the academy week 2, they start applying.
Wow.
Just because they cannot wait, because they see a lot of job opportunities constantly showing. And in fact, we used to get emails from organizations and people asking us for interns or for students. Now it's like daily. I mean, that has become a full-time job too. So we're seeing a lot of job opportunities. I think the industry has such a huge shortage that I mean, it's not even I mean, obviously it might sound biased because we're in the part of the academies and that stuff, but honestly, it's just incredible how many job opportunities are out there. And not just that, but the opportunity to grow in the industry nowadays is just like boom, 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 boom. I had a student that she joined the class on April. She started working on May. So I'm telling 4 weeks after she joined the class, she started working. She was hired by an oncology clinic, a large clinic. 5 months later, she got hired by IQVIA as a monitor.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she had only 6 months experience in the industry, and now she's a monitor for IQVIA.
Wow.
So that tells you how fast is the industry right now, how much people are growing, how many people are getting hired. It's just incredible. I mean, if you were thinking about joining this industry and you were kind of shy about it because you say, oh, probably my career doesn't fit, or probably I'm not ready for it, I don't know much about it, because everybody has an idea that this industry is a bunch of nerds with white coats. No, it's open for everybody. And
Exactly.
and if you ever wanted to enter in an industry and grow fast, I mean, going from back to zero to another career, this is perfect timing because you're going to achieve a really good position, or your career is going to grow so fast that they have never been better time to do so, to join an industry than right now, especially
Yeah.
obviously
But even with that
pharmaceutical.
being, I gotta keep it real. Like Marjorie from Topaz Clinical Research says on Clubhouse. You guys remember Clubhouse? That was an interesting
Yes.
thing, you know?
That was
Yeah.
an interesting phase.
That was an interesting phase. I'm still on it listening. There's a biotech room
Yeah.
every Sunday, but it's much nicer to just listen and not talk.
Mm.
But there's biotech
Yeah.
executives. If you guys want to see how busy the industry is, yeah, go on the Clubhouse on the Sundays. There's like a biotech room, and I think on Thursday, follow Lindsay Summers. She'll tell you all about when the next Clubhouse
Lindsay.
event is. Lindsay's awesome. But we're all saying all this good stuff. I can't leave you with just that, Monica. I know you're like positive all the time, and that's great. But look, people are commenting a bunch of things like, hey, if the job industry is so hot, why do I have to intern? Or another question I got is, and this one's like a little less you can do about it. I don't want to get vaccinated. What are my job opportunities now? A lot of questions like this, and a lot of people who are not in the academies are saying, how do I get the experience? So it's
I'm
not
gonna
all
tell
good.
you, yeah.
It's like two extremes. You got the people happy in research here and the people looking on the outside trying to get in. They see the party.
But
Well,
I tell you, I tell you why somebody without experience is not gonna have the same chances as somebody that gets the knowledge and then the internship and then the job. And I'm gonna tell you why. So first of all, the organizations are really busy trying to hire people that have, I mean, obviously, yes, there is a shortage, but there is no organization that is going to invest in a professional that might keep going in the industry, or after the training, they will say, thank you very much for your training, but I realize I don't like this industry, because that's going to be a waste of time, a waste of resources, not just money wise, but also the people training somebody that probably won't end up in the industry. So that's the benefit that a student that join a class have, because they already showing that they invest in their own training. If they are looking for a job after they finish the training, or while they are doing the training, that tells the organization that they are really interested on that area in research, rather than somebody that has zero experience, zero knowledge, and they have to train them. That's one of the main things. Then another part is that if they get the internship, obviously, like in our organization that we provide internship, they have a taste of what it is to be out there in the real world, even if it's brief, even if it's a month, even if it's 2 months, they still have that experience and they understand the pressure and the fast pace, how fast paced this industry is. So if somebody, after they do all of that, they still want to go to the industry, that tells the organization out there that this person likes or wants to really join the industry, rather than somebody that, like I was saying, maybe they say, okay, I have a chemistry background, I want to be in research because it sounds amazing, because I saw it in the university, or because I hear my neighbor, or because my sister is working in it and she's getting good money. And then they hire you, they start doing the training, and then in the middle of it, you got, this is not for me, thank you.
Yeah.
Or they get, this is just too much for me to.
Well, I got a
I
comment.
can't continue. Yeah.
I got a comment in regards to that. So somebody was saying here, from a risk management perspective, probation periods cover liability concerns for companies. If someone isn't trusted enough to be hired on, they shouldn't have access to the office, patient files, etc. That's a huge liability for the site. Depending on the facility, you'd have to consider if insurance even covers site liabilities. If someone working for free causes a breach or gets hurt or hurts someone else, there is not an official internship or employment contract. The field is lucrative. People should not be working for free. If someone wants to volunteer, that's different. But working for free does not help the industry or employees, in my opinion. So then I replied, I agree. Volunteering is the word I should have used. And I'm talking about smaller clinics because when I say work, I mean you're just going to the site to help out. And I guess it's volunteering is a better way to put it.
Yeah,
something.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. You money.
So an event that they get, for example, if they volunteer their time, at the end of the day, they are not doing a full-time committed job. So and obviously the organizations or the small clinics are not also releasing everything just like, okay, you want to volunteer, you're welcome, let's give you all the information.
That's not going to happen. Of the job too. They don't get the full exposure. Yeah.
Exactly. So what do you think about all this, Ashley? Like you work for a big CRO, let us have it. Like, first of all, next year you're predicting it to be busy. Or are you seeing any therapeutic indications that are more, I guess there's more activity in those indications? And then
well, I mean,
talk
I think
about
it's still
this
the same. I think the therapeutic indications are still the same. I see COVID-19, obviously the variants that are happening in just general, things in biotech, but gene therapy, I mean, this is the future, right? So, I always tell everybody, including my clients, if you're the kind of person that wants to think forward, right? Not just about, okay, this is my job. Think about how you can mold yourself for the future and to put best benefits ahead of you. Always think about what's the new thing, right? What's hot and what's be growing. So those are the ones I would always say that are probably the best for you to educate on. But to talk a little bit on, your question and what Monica was saying, when it comes to research, I'll take it in the aspect of what most individuals that are, research naive, right? In college, right? What are the best, known to be paths that a lot of people take and sometimes don't even, finish the full way, but it's medicine, it's nursing, some would say like psychology, depending on what region you are, etc. But what do they all have in common? They all have, at the end, they have a 6-month, 4-month period where you're actually going to the actual sites, the affiliated clinics, affiliated hospitals. You're getting that exposure. And when you're a nurse or when you're a PA or doctor, you're going through your didactic year, right? Where you're actually going into the clinics and getting that exposure. Why? Because it's important that you understand the physical, mental, and overall demand of that job, because there's a lot more to it than just understanding the concept and understanding the foundation. I personally was, trying to go into the CRA route because I wanted to travel, all the fluffy stuff about CRA. But I jumped in as an RSM1 with the global CRO, and now having seen
remote site monitor for those
remote
that
site
don't know.
monitor. Yes, remote site monitor too. Now having seen what CRAs go through, I'm very happy that I took the step of remote work because I don't have to also deal with the stress, because the job is stressful, especially if you're not organized. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity to work from home and to actually get my footing on the floor, my own structure, prior to also indulging in the fact that I would also have to worry about travel, worry about organizing those receipts on top of the other job, etc. The communication while you're traveling. Like, there's a lot more to it than a lot of people aren't really seeing, especially those that, like I said, research naive. So it's important that you understand all these aspects. And I know that from the academies, for instance, with the CRA Academy, I do talk about this with your students, right? I go into depth, and some might even say I scare them a little bit, but just so that they get the full understanding of
That's good.
what they're coming into, right? And so, it's important that you get the knowledge, you get the exposure, but you also get the conversations about what's going to be expected, what could happen, all those kinds of things like that. Because when you come in cold feet, um, doesn't mean you won't last. You can definitely last in the industry with or without the academy, but you're going to struggle. And, and I say this because I had research background and 10 years clinical industry background. So I had a good footing already. And when I started at a big CRO, my first 5 months were very rough, very rough. And that's that I would even say I am OCD and organizing, right? And so, and I didn't have that foundation that you guys provided to your students, right? I wish I would have had that, right?
You're gonna have a fun time working with Casey.
Yeah, yeah.
You two, I
I'm
think
so
you're gonna,
organized.
Monica, I think Ashley and Casey combined is gonna be unreal.
Powerhouse.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
What about this? I'm gonna ask you about this. So enough with the people with no experience. We help them out a lot. What about there's so many people that have years of research experience. So for example, I got a comment the other day. I'm a CRC for 17 years and I'm thinking of making the jump to CRA. And it's like
Take
my
it.
response was, why are you thinking,
Just
keep
do it.
thinking for 3 more years, it's gonna be 20 years.
Yeah.
Why this is the time to do it. What do you guys advise people like that?
Just take interviews. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is you don't get it. Keep taking interviews. I
But help me
even tell my
understand why is there a fear from the candidate? Like
That's what I was thinking. It's just that fear.
It's a fear.
Because
I mean,
because
not
the
knowing your worth.
opportunities are there, and obviously we know that in the industry is well known that the best CRAs are the ones that in some point were CRCs. And there are so many job opportunities out there, so much. I mean that it will be a no-brainer for any organization to hire somebody with such a long experience. But you have to remove fear from your shoulders. And reality is just that.
I would also say though, like, of course, also being fully honest with yourself, right? Like if you don't have, this is also what I tell my clients, if you don't feel like you have a good structure with your application documents or with your interviewing, right? Because all of that brings confidence into the actual interview, right? And all you really need is confidence to really execute that interview, knowing your background, knowing your story, knowing what you bring to the table. And at that point, it's just a matter of, getting the offer letter and negotiating, right? So most of the time when there's fear is because one, they have old resumes, they haven't interviewed in forever, they don't understand their worth in the actual industry, right? Financially wise and what to ask for. And sometimes I've even heard people worry about, I know I'll get an offer, but what if, it's not enough money for what I'm going to be doing? I'm probably going to be overworked and not get enough pay. And so again, comes into play as to you understanding your background, knowing what you're bringing to the table, and getting a good evaluation of yourself and your worth professionally in this industry, so that when you come in, yes, of course, you're going to have a higher work responsibility, higher workload, and you may do overtime here and
So
there.
let's do the higher workload. Okay, I predict, and it's not just me. There's people out there in positions of leadership. You guys know the 6-second video I put yesterday of like where I'm putting on my hoodie because the 3 to 6 months job experience. So I put that on LinkedIn, even though it's for TikTok, and I got a bunch of comments. Most of them, agreeing, but there's a few people like president of biotech saying, hey, all I'm hearing these days from longtime experienced colleagues in research is it's downright scary how companies are hiring unqualified, inexperienced, and overly entitled candidates for positions that require a high level of skills. We will begin seeing the consequences of this type of practice in the near future. And unfortunately, the main victim will be the quality of the data and the safety of patients. Auditors and inspectors are going to have a field day. And then an auditor commented, I agree.
So I would say to that person, CEO of biotech, right? So I agree.
Get it,
right?
Ashley. Get him.
Yeah, if you're gonna have this issue and you're gonna openly state this issue, completely understand, right? So ultimately, the biotech, the sponsor, right, is gonna be responsible for that data, etc. Well, then it's the sponsor's responsibility to fix that gap. There's a gap, right? So what would I say? They need to either find a third party company, right? The academies, and say, hey, okay, if this is an issue, let's create a pathway for internship to where we allow so many students coming in, we test them out as a sponsor, CRO, whatever, and see if we like it, right?
I
You
like
need
this
to,
strategy.
yeah, you need to find pathways. You can't, it's very easy to point the finger and get upset and name names or whatever,
Nobody takes
right? And that's
responsibility.
exactly.
And you
And
So
know
if
what?
that is
If
the
yeah,
issue, they need to find a solution. There's plenty of solutions out there. They just don't want to be the
exactly.
person or the entity to go out there and create it. And this is how the CRA, the Clinical Research University, got born, because we have thinkers that are saying, well, screw everybody else. Let's go ahead and fix this problem and get these individuals who have the want, the need, and the drive to educate themselves, to put themselves out there, right? If you're going to complain about people not having experience, give them the opportunity to showcase that they can provide that experience to you. They're not doing that.
can
So
you
you have
comment
these
this on Mike on that comment? Can you comment this?
comment
Yeah,
that.
that, and I'm gonna say
Yeah.
something
You guys
else.
love
I'm
my
gonna say,
comments.
yeah, I'm gonna say something else. So obviously, if the industry have the need of hiring so many people, right? If the industry doesn't hire people, then we're gonna have a different problem. So
Exactly.
it's either or, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
in that case, the best way to do is bring a solution. This what was the good solution? To train well these people, and
Yeah.
the but in order to have a well-trained team or group of people, you need a good
Foundation.
a good, huh?
Foundation, like
Yeah,
structure.
and,
Yeah.
and yeah, exactly. And that's
Mhm.
when, like, for example, us, we have that with the CRA, I mean, with the Clinical Research University. So I mean, there are many obviously opportunities that you can say, you like Ashley was saying, point fingers, or bring the problem to the solution instead of bringing a solution.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
would say when they say entitled candidates,
Hmm.
what I have to say back to this person, and I'm an employer, I'm not an employee, I'm with you, but I don't think they're entitled. I think it's supply and demand. It's what the market
Exactly.
tells them. If there's only one of them and the industry needs 10 of them for every one of them, I'd be entitled too. And so would you
Yeah.
guys,
And not
the
only that, but like
biotechs.
including this. So if that's the case, and the person is stating that because obviously they're entitled and they're coming in. So they're already in the industry, might as well kind of make your money's worth and just create the loop with
Yep.
an actual academy.
Yep.
Pay them lower through the internship because they actually want to get that exposure.
Yep.
Ensure that they're going to get the training that you want them to have, so that at the point of re-evaluation, they are worth that amount. But you know what? People don't want to think about this, or people don't want to put the time into this. Fine, but
Well,
then, here you go. Waste your money, waste your time, be our guest, circulate, fine. But if you want solutions, come to us. Reach out to Dan, reach out to Monica. We are happy to sit down and discuss with you all these solutions that we can bring to your company and help you save money and time and overall, probably like retention, right? So, it's just,
Ashley's great.
I,
You guys are great to
yeah.
have on every episode I should have on. Here's what I'm going to talk about CROs. I always bash them, and they do a lot of good things too. They do a lot of bad
Mhm.
things for the industry, but they do a lot of good things. One of the good things they're doing is they're addressing this guy's problem of the labor shortage. They are, and Ashley, you can speak on this too. And it does us no good to talk about this because it's technically competes with what we offer, but they have their own academies for clinicians, and they don't charge, but it's invite only. If you're a clinician, you're invited to join the big CRO's clinician to CRA Academy. I don't know how long it is. Do you have details on this kind of stuff, like Ashley? But I think that's a good thing.
Um,
I think that's a proactive act of a company who's facing a labor shortage. Like, I think that's what you're supposed to do. So I would tell the biotech person, I know there might not be money, investors don't want you to invest in your workforce if your product is not going to be approved. You're kind of
mhm,
in a tough spot. But CROs, they don't care if drugs make it or not. They need people, they need
mhm.
CRAs. Do you have details on these programs? I actually think that's a good thing that they're doing, even though they're kind of competing with us, but it's not really competition because It's a invite only, and it's just for clinicians. What do you think about this? Both of you guys, I want honest feedback.
Well, I don't have like, heavy detail. It's just more of the fact that I do know that obviously as clinicians, especially international doctors, and more so if, and not just international doctors, of course, same for nurses, PAs, all clinicians, MAs, well, those that are licensed, right? Especially even more so if you have the academy backing, it's a huge plus. It's a huge, huge plus. They're definitely pushing those interviews much quicker, right? Because again, if you're not going to come in with a lot of research background, but you have that medical aspect, and a licensed clinician has that quality assurance mindset already when they're doing documentation for subjects and patients. So, it's kind of like, they're trying to grab up those as soon as they can. And so,
Yes.
Since they're all competing, right? They're definitely going to try to push those
What that
through the
basically tells
interviews.
you is like, let's hire people who at least know patient safety,
Yes.
and we'll worry about the research side later, like the fundamentals, but at least they know patient safety. So at the
Mhm.
worst case, at least they know contraindication, at least they know AEs of interest, right?
That they are
Yeah.
covering the most important part of research, which is patient safety.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I think it's a great way for the industry to grow too, because like we were mentioning, we have to bring a solution to the problem.
Yeah.
It will be a bigger problem not to have more workforce, because
Yeah.
exactly. And then if we think about, I mean, thinking about the world population, baby boomers are gonna be needing much more treatments, more stuff. If we don't
Mm.
work fast right now, it's gonna be a huge problem in no time. So we need to have more treatments that really work available. And this is the time. I mean, we actually should have done this in a few years ago, rather than now that it's basically
Well, they had these, the
I
CROs had these programs. I think they turned them on and off as needed. But I remember hearing about this, the CROs having their own academies, even like in 2016. I remember hearing about it, but they turn it off and on as needed. They don't do it all the time. And
Mhm.
they don't advertise it. You have to like know somebody there, like Ashley. Hey, Ashley, get me in. You're at a CRO. Don't hit up Ashley, guys. She's not going to do it. But we
Um,
can't, our academies can't solve this whole problem. The industry is huge.
yeah,
So we need more of
yeah,
this.
exactly. And I would like to say that, just like what Monica was talking about, like the overall growth and of the need later. I think COVID kind of kicked the CROs and sponsors in high gear in an acute state of like mental processing to how they can, okay, fix the issue now. But now that they've kind of gotten on their feet and have a structure, I think now looking at the macro aspect of like what Monica says, what's coming down the line. And, there's more diseases, there's all sorts of things that are happening, right? There's a lot of stuff that needs to be addressed, or more clinical trials, etc. There's going to be a lot more needed. And so, I think looking at the macro aspect of it, the need for solution is that much more, should be that much more placed at a higher priority, because you need to figure out or work with other people externally. If you're not fixing the issue internally, which it's very clear that they're not, then they need to work with people externally, whether it's us or other people, etc. um, they have to find ways around this, because if they can't even hire enough at enough fast enough rate, it's because they don't have enough people internally to do it at a fast rate. So I mean, eventually you have to extend outward, right? And so I mean, it's a matter of time, and I do think eventually it will get to this point. I think sometime at some point a light bulb will hit. It's just, unfortunately, I feel like the industry, like you, Dan, for instance, you're literally just one of the very few handful of people that actually have research content out there, right? And so I feel that they are
Yeah.
also aware of this. And so excuse me, to just kind of jump out and say, oh well, let's see who can assist. Not a lot of organizations or companies have a lot of years to stand on, right? So in experience. So I think that that's probably also the issue there. But I do feel down the road that that a partnership or partnerships will be created, because you know if they're not willing to let people in like that, right, with no experience or little to no experience, they're going to eventually come to a point where they're going to see, an extreme drop in applicants,
Yep.
and they're going to be placed in a corner, right? So I do feel like it's down the road, to be quite honest, but so long as there's people bringing it to the surface, it's a matter of time.
And I think bringing new fresh blood to the industry, besides solving the
Fresh
problem of the
blood.
shortage, yeah, besides fixing the problem of the shortage, it's also fixing another problem, underlying problem, which is diversity.
Mhm.
I wanted
And
to
that's
mention
point
that
to your
because
logo right there
exactly,
above your
exactly.
left
Latinos
ear.
in clinical
There's
research.
yes, right next to you. Actually, you pointing at your shirt. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
So that's
So,
exactly what we're
and that's why we're
that's
doing
our
that.
mission. Exactly. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
So I mean, we're not solving just one, but many problems.
Well, this guy
And
framed it. This guy framed it. He said the real victims are the patients and safety. So he thinks the same as you, but the opposite is happening. That because we're letting so many people in that don't know anything, patients are gonna suffer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't run a biotech.
I mean, ultimately, yeah. I mean, stats wise, yeah, you more than likely have a higher chance, of course, but again, that comes down to the issue of I personally think it's the sponsors and the CROs, not if this is the problem, and ultimately these are the ones that are hiring, right? They need to come up with the solution. I mean,
Yeah,
even for instance, for us as an organization, right? Say we wanted to bring the clinical research university to a sponsor and CRO and provide the solution to them. It's
yeah.
already difficult enough just to get in contact and have a meeting, to have a serious sit down and talk with solutions, and for that solution to be processed upward, right? That alone, right? So ultimately, it still comes down to the CRO and sponsor to have that light bulb go off, to actually feel the need to move forward instead of picking up issues and picking up scraps as they are making the errors as they move forward in the industry over time, right? They
And I
need
think
to be the
Like
ones to
Monica
move
said,
forward.
I mean, what Monica basically said, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like you could either do less studies or you can't, right? If you're a CRO, you're obviously not going to say no. I think the real issue is the hiring shortage at the site level that no
Mhm.
one's talking about, because that's going to directly affect the community and diversity. Because if there's a site in, I don't know, Yuma, Arizona, okay,
Mhm.
that's random place, Yuma, Arizona, okay, that's in the middle of like diverse community, and we only have 2 people as coordinators. We cannot take like a fifth or sixth study. And so
Mhm.
who suffers there? Obviously the site suffers lost revenue,
And the
potential revenue,
region.
but the region suffers. The patients who, let's say we turned down an asthma study, but we have a COPD study. Well, those asthmatic patients in that area could have had alternatives. Now they can't because the site has a shortage. And also the site staffing is more important to me than CROs, because at the site level, the FDA goes to audit the site. Even if you have CRA, the CRA can only do so much to clean up a site, right? They have a SWAT team that goes in when they know there's going to be FDA audit to clean up. But if the site does what they're supposed to do, you almost don't even need a monitor.
Mhm.
yeah, at the end of the day, the patient safety is taken care where?
The
Site.
site.
Exactly. So that's
So
Yeah,
what
it's
Mr.
a
Biotech guy, chill,
I was
chill,
gonna I
Mr.
was gonna
Biotech.
yeah I'm gonna say something, and this is gonna sound a little bit too much,
Mr. Biotech guy, come on the clinical
do
research
it for us,
circle.
but
We want
Monica.
to
Get it
interview
for
you.
us.
but we have to hold accountable the CEOs of the pharma organizations, because they are the ones responsible for all of this too, right? If they don't take care of that specific part, which is very important, I mean, right?
Yeah.
What can we do?
Mhm.
Nothing. Nothing. I
Yeah.
think that's a
Yeah.
good place to end it. Monica, um, raging out against the biotech CEOs. But we love you guys too. We want you on our clinical research circle to talk about your stock.
It's nothing against them. Nothing
Come
against
on,
them.
come on our show.
Because
Hey, what
no,
happened, Monica? Hold on,
because
hold
we
on.
have really good ones. We have
Hold on.
really good ones.
Monica,
there.
what happened? We have Chem Farm. What happened? Is the CEO's ducking us or what? They've been asking us, and I'm asking because viewers are asking, when are you having Travis Mickle on again? Speaking of biotech CEOs. What happened? Did we have supposed to have an interview?
No, we have actually, they sent us recently the latest
Is it today?
information. Now, the latest information. I'm gonna schedule the interview.
Oh, we have to schedule it. Okay. Because people are asking, and also, man, I can't wait till Casey starts working with us because we need to get somebody from Aquestive Therapeutics. People are loving that stock, that company, and we haven't talked to them. I've done many videos on them. We have also on the circle. Speaking of biotechs, we're bringing it full circle, but we need to get more of these CEOs on. So this person who commented, I'm actually gonna go paste this video to his comment and say, hey, check out minute mark, whatever, where Monica goes on absolute rant against you, but we'd love to have you on the show.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
No, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
It's just that, I mean, it's important to push, right?
Yes. I'm just
knowing and understanding all
all
aspects that are in line. This is why it's important that CRO sponsors, they speak to those that are seeing the full view of everything, right? Because they're not talking to sites. I mean, that's part of what Latinos in clinical research talks a lot about, how there's not a lot of communication, right? So they need to understand the full circle.
Yeah. And when I was saying hold the CEOs accountable, is
hold them to the fire.
They have that because they have the capability to choose within their professional group of people that they work with, to push also the professionals to do what they should be doing, and that's actually gonna bring their business to a different level, as well as the organization, as well as the whole industry.
Check this out. All right, I went back to the comment to put, I'm gonna tell him, hey, check it out. But somebody else 32 seconds ago commented, associate director somewhere. He says, I agree. There is a strong need for quality training programs. So you guys exactly hit it right on the head.
Yeah.
To increase the workforce. It's scary to see the number of unqualified individuals that are hired in these highly skilled positions due to a weak market. What is even scarier is individuals with no background in research are placed in high-level executive positions across the nation, and doing the hiring of these individuals. It is vital for our leadership and job recruiters have a strong talent recruitment capacity in this field. I'm going to reply and just tag Lindsay Summers. I'm not going to say anything else. She's a recruiter. Oh, and Martin Huxley, right?
And tag this video.
And this video.
Well, this video, but it's not uploaded yet. I'll do it later. Soon as it's still being made. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let's wrap up with that.
Reach out to us. We're happy to have this conversation, and whether we can help you or direct you to those who can, but let's take the first step together, because we'll only get it done together. So
LatinosInClinicalResearch.com. All ethnicities welcome.
Yeah, we have
all
the
backgrounds
solutions.
welcome.
Yeah, we have the solution here for you. Reach out.
Reach out to Monica and Ashley, guys.
Yeah.
Sounds like I'm too busy. I don't know what the solutions are. We're just one at a time. The solution is one student at a time, one site at a time. At the end of the day, everyone's trying to scale this. We just had a Zoom call with some guy who's trying to do like 8,000 students. It's one at a time, one site at a time, one investigator at a time. That's the way to go. If we have more organizations doing that approach, it's going to be better.
Yes.
So there's no competition, in my opinion. All right.
Well, good. Yeah,
we'll wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching, listening. Happy end of 2021. I'll see you more though, but maybe Ashley and Monica, maybe this might be our last one for 2021. If so, Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah. Sending love to all the CEOs.
Yeah. Why you got Monica just that little zing at the end?
We want you on the circle. Let's talk
Well-
stocks. Let's talk stocks.
Yes, it's
Don't
true,
just
it's
come
true.
on when you have good news to promote. We want you to come on like on a regular Wednesday.
Mhm.
Right. Let's talk business. Catch y'all later, guys. Bye-bye.